Okay, sorry for the technical problems. um, okay, we will resume our presentation. Okay, this is the agenda. Basically, the idea is to yeah, present to you what is Deno itself, talking about a little bit introduction about the Node.js author, and then some explain some what design mistakes was occurred, and then an introduction to Deno, and then a code example for playing some moment. Okay, this guy was the author of of Deno. Of course, the author or one of the beginners and for Node.js. And basically, this guy last month ago presents Deno. We see in the next slide how about this, but he presents a talk, and this talk he did try to explain or to try to explain the regulations about the Node.js itself. So this is a quote about this presentation. He said basically when he left uh, in 2012 Node.js team, okay, more or less with the goals achieved for a user-friendly networking framework, of course. Uh, but he, yeah, was quite wrong because, yeah, of course, there are many tasks to improve or many things to improve in the Node.js core. So, of course, after this guy left or left the Node.js team, many things occurs because at the moment um, there are many in the top of that many features and many improvements. But okay, this is basically remembering. So then he explained something about design mistakes in Node.js. Um, basically, he said he would like to uh, improve many things in Node.js in the past that actually it's not possible, or actually the new team achieved these improvements, but there exist another ones that's possible to fix. And for example, yeah, and of course this guy says, yeah, he really hurts to me because yeah, Node.js could be being much nicer than actually it is. So um, when regressions maybe it's promises because promises I think many of you knows about it was introduced in 2012 2009 but removed in the next year. uh, the reason was because at this moment the uh, this guy don't very or did not very sure about the official support by the specification. I mean, and ES6. Um, this was the reason because he decides to remove this feature. Uh, at this moment, of course, and even until now, we're using callbacks for manage async code, and and of course, performance was very good with callbacks because you know it's very fast. But if you then be a bit curious right now, just for mention only, it's right now the team in the next release, in release Node.js version 12, I think there are many significant improvements in async away feature. Even we can compare with the native promises right now. So and of course, promises is very interesting thing, and yeah, was necessary. It's every task that you plan to do, you should be considerate to use promises, of course. Yeah, you see at the moment, actually, this is a screenshot, and you see on the screen, it's a screenshot from the current version of the current stable version of Node.js that actually doesn't support promises for certain things in the API. But I think that the team is planning to add to incorporate in the future or very soon. So another concerns is about security currently in Node.js. BH is basically it's a secure sandbox. I mean, it's very in general we can say it because it's very is the support or is the core of Chrome browser, you know, and Google invests many engineering on the top of VH, but of course powered at the moment JavaScript. But unfortunately, Node.js is we trying to play in something or yeah create some package for whatever thing. Um, Everything is zero. There is zero security because you have directly access to many delicate things in your computer. I mean, you can just, for example, reference the file system API, and you just can get started to communicate or save files into your system. But we see later it's not a really, or it's a one regression related to something to concern to security because not every time do you plans to give access by default to certain things in the computer. So, and one example about it is this famous incident around to the cross env package. If you see, is it not the right name, but it's a fake name. But if we explore about it, it's just, oh, it was a malware in the npm registry. So basically, this package was uh, adding some was using your environment variables um, API of the Node.js for access to your environment variables and then to send to some, I don't know, URL. This is not the official, of course. The famous package is the original is crossenv. And this probably could be happening with many packages if we don't thinking about the concerns on security in the computer. Um, so um, another regression probably it's one of the most important is the build system internally for Node.js. Um, Actually, Node.js is using JEP. JEP is an build system for being native linkings to like C libraries into the into the into the Node.js core, or if you plans to create a native models to get it access to directly native access to the through using C libraries. So actually, uh, the author of Deno says build systems are very difficult, but are very important because it's the I think it's the very important things for communicators native for through the VH. JIP, sorry, for communication and pass connect to expose the data properly to our users, like the Node community. Um, it's very difficult because it's not just a JSON file; it's a mix of Python and so on. And yeah, it's and of course it's something yeah annoying when you plans to create native models with it. Uh, later Chrome dropped Jeep for using GN. GN is a new or was a new alternative of Jeep. It's a very improved version, and leaving Node the Node just like the only user of Jeep. So probably it's a good sorry, it's a bad regression about it because it's basically internally, and of course it's very difficult to change or to migrate Jeep to the JN. So another regression is package JSON. Probably you are thinking it's why is the reason, because yeah, it's widely used for many of 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 many of the community. Uh, but for example, if you require some module in Node.js, you are requiring the name, of course, but this name is a trivial because you are requiring in not a specific way. I mean, uh, like another for example, another languages, for example, in Go, you can require directly to the file, but specifying exactly the extension of this file. So in that case, if you install the module, you require the module, awesome, but you see exactly when you include the module, you don't know exactly what it means, because probably you need to package JSON for define exactly what is the default. In that case, npm used a magic resolver for index.js and automatically load this file or the main file that you previously specified in the package JSON. Another thing is about package JSON is includes all sorts of unnecessary information. Okay, yeah, like licenses, repository descriptions, and many other things that you plan to use. And yeah, it's a little bit noise. So here a small picture about how heavy it's package manager actually, especially for node underscore modules. So if you see the next one, the next regression probably is the Node.js modules. And yeah, it's pretty funny because normally some of you in the past did try this command, remove Node.js modules and then install again. It's very heavy, we know. Other thing about the npm itself, it's very easy to ship the non-essential files. Because when you install a packages, you need to take care what exactly these packages are installing in your directory, on your project directory. Maybe someone forgot something and you receive many unnecessary files in your computer. So it is all out of the browser semantics, because if you're thinking about it, is when you plans to add some JavaScript file in your index files and your HTML file, sorry. Basically, you use the script tag, right? The script tag, but you add the source and directly the source what you want to use. And here it's a little bit tricky because you need to bundle maybe, or you need to export something for UMD format and so on. And of course, you need to do something before to use in the browser. And I know I have made. I know I am not speaking. Is speaking in that case the author. He made model resolution very complicated, because if you see it, when you import some model in Node.js, internally many things happen for you. Get the right file for your application. Um, and this guy is saying sorry because exactly there's many things to improve, and of course it's not possible to undo now. Another thing is yeah, that I talked in the previous slides. Require is not implicit, is not explicit when you try to require something. Even if you try to require the module slash the file, you don't need to add the extension. npm or the model resolution will do for you. You need to prove that the file system for different things, because yeah, and depends of the model. You don't exactly know is this a JavaScript file or is a TS file or something. Um, exactly not how browsers JavaScript browsers works. So yeah, I did explain in the previous slide. Is basically the script tag and the source attribute, can you import directly the file and so on. And the module loader internally for Node.js have to query the file system for multiple locations and trying to figure out or guess what the user intends. So I mean, the previous slides did explain that internally the model resolutions will try to find the right file for you. Another regression in the index.js file. Yeah, creator thought it was cute, right? Cute, but because there was an HTML file, of course. But you see, the next slide was not necessary because it's neatly complicated, the model loaded systems. Because if you assume that the index file is a default file, you need to do many things behind for that occurs. And it becomes especially unnecessary after require support package.json, exactly, because now with package.json you don't exactly need to place an index.js file in your package. You can directly add the main file into the package.json file. So okay, and then I will give you an introduction about Deno. Deno appears yeah, the last year, and basically it's a secure JavaScript runtime built in VH. But of course you can run JavaScript in the same, but you will see it doesn't make sense because the idea is to use TypeScript in that case. And in the top of Rust and Tokyo. Rust, if probably maybe uh, you know about it. Rust is very have very it's a language for many high performance applications. Native applications is a system language, and Tokyo can give it's a library in Rust for give the possibility to do async operations on the top of many things. For example, VH. Here's some Deno goals. Um, I will explain some of them. Basically, the goals of Deno are supports TypeScript out of the box. You see the TypeScript compiler is included in the binary. But this is model solution that was wrong because it's model resolution with ES modules. I mean, you can use an ES syntax for importing ES modules directly with import, and it is not necessarily required. Um, like the browser, you can import your files directly from URLs. We see in the next slide how we can import our scripts from repositories of whatever place you plans to save your source files, or using relative import. Um, so another goals is remote code. When you, for example, when you add some or you reference or you import some remote script, automatically Deno fetch and cache this script for the first execution, but you have the possibility to reload this script if we plans to make changes on it. Um, doesn't allow performance delicate actions by default because Deno it's a secure sandbox on the top of VH, of course. Deno by default doesn't allow to you to use, for example, or to give you access to the network or to the file system or to the environment variables because yeah, it's the idea is to take care with these features and just use on demand. I mean, when you want to really use, you can explicitly say, they know I want to use network access, and you will get network access for your application. Other interesting thing is Deno always crash when uncaught errors. I mean, this is very cool because sometimes when you run some script in Node.js, or depends on your application or some packages around, uh, your applications not really crash, not really exit when some error happen. It's very important because, for example, in compiled languages, if some error happens, you can crash. If you not catch these errors in your source code, I mean, in your application. Um, Deno plans to improve the HTTP library or the HTTP feature for for this APA. Actually, you can use HTTP, but we see in the next slide how we can use. But it's not really fast as I know. But the team plans to add very, very cool improvements and speeds because behind is the standard library for getting access or for expose this API is Rust. I mean, we can get very, very good performance in the top of HTTP in the case for Deno. I mean, native speed. So, okay, and Deno is in general browser compatible. So, because you're using URL for important. And here there are some no goals of Deno. No used, no package JSON usage, no npm. I mean, no package manager. And yeah, it is not explicitly compatible with Node.js because for different reasons. Because one main reason, of course, is the API itself. The API itself is completely right in TypeScript, but we will see in the next slide more about it. So, okay, Deno goals. First one is, I think, the security and the security goal. It's Deno. It's basically or it's in the top of VH means it's a secure sandbox like a JavaScript actually, but with small differences. Deno can get access to VH. VH in that case is unprivileged environment, in Rust and use Rust. In that case, Rust is privileged. I mean, the way for communicate or for get access to the native features in in the computer. And but this communication it's only done via serialized messages defined in this in flat buffer. Flat buffer, I don't know if this is here. Flat buffer, it's a library for serialized you data, and you can pass very fast. In that case, to VH and vice versa. And these flat buffers is maintained by Google. And yeah, there are many software using it. Previously, Deno in the beginning was using proto buffers, but these guys, yeah, to found that the speed and the performance was not really good. So in that case, the Deno team did replace this feature, and in that case, we'll go to the flat buffers in that case. So, and sorry. Okay, all the scripts that you plan to use with Deno run without any network or environment variables or file system access by default. But it's possible to on demand enable these features for you for your application. Okay, and that allows to run and trust utilities if you want. Then they don't allow arbitrary native functions to be bound into the VH because all the communications is through flat buffer. Flat buffer basically it's an definition file, and the team define all the structure for communication for the APA, and then this APA is and this file is used for pass messages or returns messages from the VH, and to VH. Yeah, there are exactly two native functions, just send the commands and receive the commands only, nothing more. This both simplifies, I mean, these two ways communication, simplifying the design, of course, and makes the system easier to audit. I mean, it's very easy to upgrade the APA or improve them because flat buffers can deal with VH. So we see, and this picture, for example, this picture is shows the Deno core, and sorry, I don't know if this picture is in the screen. Sorry. Oh, not again. I don't know if this is the cable. I mean, technical problems in production, sorry. Oops. Maybe I need to try Deno. So, okay. Yeah, and that's okay. I think it's good. Right. So, this picture shows to you basically how it's the core of Deno internally. At the moment, you see Deno processes privilege in the left side is the standard libraries created by Deno in Rust in the left side, and in the right side, of course, is VH, the virtual machine, But for communicate both, we need some way to communication. In that case, this is all picture because you see proto buffer, but actually right now it's flat buffers for that. Then in BH and all the standard library are bundled with the TypeScript compiler inside. So another goal about Deno is Deno simplifies the model system because and that means there's not necessary compatibility with existing node modules. Sorry, and because the only way to import scripts or packages for you used with Deno, it's explicitly define the file and the extension. That means you cannot import the actually node modules, npm modules that you have in the ecosystem. If you see imports are relative or absolute, in that case URLs only support. If you see, here's one example, you can just import remote, URLs, and then it can then download for you, or you can import directly from your local directories in your project. And yeah, imports must be provided an extension. Another goal, it's maybe a little bit low level in that case, but just quickly, it's a single executable file. I mean a binary file for used with the minimal linkings to the native system or native libraries in your system. In that case, you see an example. And for example, here I can show you around just a few libraries that the Deno actually used in your native, for getting the native access. And yeah, it's not so much. And another thing is the size of Deno. It's around 80 megabytes actually. In the past was a little bit more or less, but yeah, I think it's more high than Node.js. So this is Node.js version 11, and Deno version 0.3 actually is in development. But if you see the version, and you see in the screen when you type the version, you see the BH version and the TypeScript compiler actually. In that case, it's version 3.3. So yeah, in that case, okay, another goal is a TypeScript compiler built into the executable that I mentioned in the past. TypeScript is by default. TypeScript is that's a good thing itself. It's not the intention of TypeScript, and I think in the community this is my this is a personal opinion. It's TypeScript was not or the one of the main reasons is it's not perfect or will not create for be perfect type system language type language, but was more for for JavaScript usage. I mean for help to JavaScript ecosystem because type system that you see you can give many improvements in your source code, many integrations with your IDEs, and checks compile errors before the compilation. So basically something to say to TypeScript. I don't really to say something more like that, but yeah, Deno incorporate the compiler internally. Some things in the top is you see some examples of why TypeScript probably it's a good fit for, in that case, for Deno. And um, but the idea for working with TypeScript, of course, in Deno, yeah, uh, the idea is to use TypeScript when you use Deno, because if you use plain JavaScript, I think doesn't make sense. Yeah, because TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, of course. Okay, and if you don't trust me, you can see this picture. It's okay, a little bit funny, but sometimes makes sense a little bit. Okay, then another myth goals, or yeah, uh, are, for example, they know always crash immediately and unhandled promises. This is a cool feature because probably you know or you deal with it in Node.js. If you forget something to cache in for your promises, probably you don't know it. You need to uh, ensure this is really catch these errors. But here, no, they know explicitly crash. And another thing is Deno plans to support top-level await. What exactly it is? It's you can import your models directly using. Sorry, you can run async models directly. For example, here in the TypeScript source code, you can see, yeah, you can just import and async directly. Sometimes probably it's useful. And yeah, and then um, and of course you have a bit compatibility, or compatibility is compatible with browser usage. So I think forgot I have an before before to say things, I have an some code examples. Okay, we see Deno in action. So here I have a small example running Deno. Basically, yeah, I have two examples. One example is an plain usage here, a very small module, and then another one is using a server. Basically, the source code is here. So, you see, I'm write, or I did write just plain TypeScript. I don't know if you can see. Is it's okay for you? You can see it. Okay. And basically, this is a function to calculate a factorial, and you pass uh, a number for calculation, and then receive the result. Here in the examples, you can see the usage, and here in the usage, as you see, I import in the file, sorry, my model, and just used. So we will test this file. Uh, Here I define these small make files. I don't know if you know, but it's pretty interesting. I really like make files for certain things. And in that case, the first example is factorial. It plans to run right now. But as you see, it's basically you use Deno and then you file directly. Then we see for server how we can run, or how we can run in that case a server, but with access to the network. In that case, I explicitly defined allonet flag for the Deno binary. So we will try it again, try it out. Sorry, this is not the. Sorry, this is yarn. Sorry. Okay, I only have factory in that case, but I get an error because if you see Deno expect always an extension. In that case, factorial needs to fix. In that case, my editor, in that case Visual Studio Code, showed me this is not a bad thing because yeah, it's not support, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because it's working. Mm-hmm. The previous message before exactly, yeah. If you see, basically this is an writing in Node.js, right? Yeah, you define the file and then use it. Maybe I can expand for you. Yeah. This is very curious because if you see the messages in detail, uh, the message is not telling you need to add extension, um, but in the bottom you see Rust errors. This is an error from directly from the Rust file in the line whatever, and in the bottom you see the package actually used. In that case, Tokyo with the previously slides we mentioned. So uh, basically, I think the teams needs to improve this part, but actually the problem when Deno cannot resolve your model is because the extension is not defined. Exactly. Here this is right because this is not Node.js. And then when I execute factorial, I execute it properly. Um, so as you see, it's pretty cool because it's just plain TypeScript and nothing more. No dependencies, no. If you see, for example, my library here in calculator is just a class with a function. Pretty cool. So, but I have a test file for this component for this library or model, how you can say. In that case, as you see in the top, I actually used the standard library of Deno. Deno, like Node.js, provide an API. We can, or maybe we can try it. Deno standard library. It's called a standard library in that case. And this standard library contains all the API. But if you see, if you are curious, it's all TypeScript. This is pretty cool because, yeah, if you plan to use it in the future, maybe you can see directly the API. I don't know, and directly in the TypeScript files. And of course, for that happened, we need Rust because Rust provide the access for certain things, uh, or HTTP protocol for file system and so on. And then I used the way to use or to import these standard libraries is just to put the plain URL of the file and just the model that you plan to use. For example, if you go to testing file to the testing directory, of course here's the source code, but here you find at the moment you find an explanation of how we can use this API. And here, I did take this example from here for using the, in that case, testing library. So, and yeah, we'll try again. In that case is tests. Again, the same error. So I think what was, I forgot to put the extension here. And in that case, I try to verify that the 4 is equal to 24. It's okay. Yeah, it's right. In that case, as you see, my code is running immediately. But if I define here the version of this library, I don't know, this is 0.3.3, for example, or 4, I think. We replace this here. We need to explicitly define here in the standard library. And yeah, then it starts to download. So I think if I put but yeah, there is not version, but here like we can verify it. And this website, that provides the all the packages. And here you say the actually branch. If you see here, I using directly from the master branch, which is not the right idea, the good idea. The idea is to put, of course, the version of this library. Actually, I don't know what version it is. We can check it out, the branches here, I think, or something like that. And so put the standard library and then the version and then exactly. They can resolve the assert file library. I think because the version is not correct. Ah, what do you say? Ah, the first one. Yeah, I think I here it has 2. Right, thank you. So again, so yeah, I think some of these versions are actually not correct, but I think version 4 is working. I need to find what versions actually are used. Of course, if you see there's many maybe in the GitHub directly, exactly. Maybe I can go to here in the repository and see the releases. Sorry. Maybe I will try with that. It's normally should be works. Version 2. Version 4 doesn't exist, sorry. And now it's working, yeah. As you see, Deno is download for you the packages and yeah, and then compile your script and then run it. If you try again, it's I think it's sorry, it's more faster than the previously. Yeah. So other example that I have prepared, it's yeah, the classic web server. Maybe I can take the same approach from here for the version. This is the server, okay, but this is the server library. This is just an example. So at the moment, the API provides a server APS HTTP library for you can use, you create your servers. But if you see this code is pretty, yeah, pretty small. And if you see in detail, you can use the latest ES6 or ES7 versions of JavaScript, of course, with TypeScript. And here I create the server with the specific parameters, and then yeah, just response this message Yeah, we can try again. I have server here. Again, I received the same problem because I forgot to put the extension. And here in the extension, I add the extension, I try again. Yeah, of course, it's actually downloaded because I did put the version. Yeah, and my server is running. As I try, this is the actually server running. Pretty easy to use. As you see, it's just plain JavaScript with the latest features that you normally use with the latest version of JavaScript. And yeah, it's just, yeah. Exactly. It's tricky, exactly. The API, as you see, is yeah a bit tricky because um, actually the team is heavily improving this library. It serves all the standard library for Deno, and we will expect that this everything probably could be changed in the future. Um, but it's interesting because I see that I can use the latest version. I can use TypeScript for that, and yeah, it's pretty fast and pretty easy. So yeah, basically that for now. And yeah, nothing more here. Something to mention. Okay, nothing more. Of course, it's not necessary for now to use Node.js modules or something. Just So okay. Yeah, I think that's all. Thanks. Sure, sure. Good question. At the moment, I think it's just this just general, sorry, this just general options you do have actually. Um, yeah, I don't really sure this you can just locked in that case. You just have you just block the network access directly. But we see maybe probably it's possible to hack it. So okay, I think you have another question. Mm-hmm. Really. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a good question because normally we are curious about. We are very. It's a very um, mm, very good things to have a very fast runner. In that case, Node.js, for example, is yeah, it's pretty fast for running the scripts. Yeah, exactly. At the moment, Dino has a little bit of small delay at the beginning. Uh, the problem is still right now, but I guess the team is working on it. I think because, yeah, I really notice when you run the first time, it's a little bit significant this mode. Yeah, because actually it's uh, Deno it's working on it. So yeah. When you say extensions, you say native extensions or just yeah, exactly. It's pretty. You can just create native extensions in Rust, of course, but I think you can create in TypeScript some things. Depend of you how much native access you want or how customized. Mm-hmm. Jane, Jane, maybe Jane is the right. Or yeah, you can try Rust. Even uh, okay, Node.js. I don't know if you knows. You knows what is this library? It's sorry, I forgot the name. It's Neon. I don't know. Maybe you know about. This is for Node.js, of course, but uh, yeah, you can use the same approach for directly in Rust for Deno because Deno behind the Deno is not C++, it's Rust at the first time, and then it's BH. But yeah, if you know Rust, you can try it. Yeah, and even just quickly, I can show you an experiment with this um, moment Rust. No, um, this was. I can show you an example for you can see it. It's not pretty complicated. Um, for example, I did some small, or I did play with this extension for Node.js. Sorry. For example, here I'd replicate the same factorial example that you see in the previous one, the slides. And this neon library is pretty awesome because you can create easily native packages in Rust. As you see, I just import uh, the native code, but here in native directory, you see a Rust structure. This is a typical Rust structure. And here I define my library. My library is pretty small. In that case, yeah, this is neon for Node.js itself, but yeah, I guess you can do the same approach for directly for Deno, Rust. Okay. So another question or just a comment or yeah? Actually, no. Exactly. Should be B1, but it's I think it's not reading about it. Mm, are not. I mean, it's not prioritized. It's not prioritized at the moment because the creators say with uh, sorry with just importing the file directly. Sorry, it's enough for now. Even in other systems, but of course the package manager is very useful, even if you plan to install many things. But yeah, I think after the or during the development of Deno, the team we plans to add a package manager. But I don't really sure this is in the roadmap right now. So okay, some questions or maybe you yeah you can. Exactly.
Like our cross and you said it, like it wouldn't have happened if cross end wouldn't have had right access, right?
Exactly here.
Yeah, right in the position, but like in practice, it would have happened. If I gave the whole like if I execute the script and I gave it a right access, cross end would also have a right access, right?
Yeah, but in that case, the problem basically was, or in that case, for the regression, the Deno is trying to say is, uh, actually Node.js, every package can have access to your system by default. I mean, there's no restrictions. Here with Deno, you just can run your script or your package or your what library you plans to use, but you can limit or you can add some constraint for that. By default, Deno doesn't provide really access for like case for invariant variables. Um, yeah, I think in that case, it's a good thing because not every time you plans to give you to the of course you would like to publish your package around in internet, but not every time you plans to get access for the old computer of your clients. I mean, and yeah, in that case, it's a good things to ensure what really needs to get it access, and yeah, you can decide what access you can want. Even regarding to that, I can show you something. Um, okay, this is a make server that in the previous example, but what happens is I'd remove uh, the network access. In that case, right now, it showed me that the application needs or wants for network access in that case, and you can allow and accept connections. In that case, it's okay. Or you can, yeah, denegate permissions for network access in that case. So yeah, it's pretty cool in that case because yeah, I think it's useful for when you plan to run packages for different computers. Or maybe I can plans to try your library, but I don't sure what exactly you need for my computer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So also like in practice you could separate
Concerns,
one
yeah.
service into multiple services and one has right access, right permission and the other doesn't have like.
It's a good point,
This would.
exactly.
Okay.
Good. So another questions? Or yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe one question from me. Maybe probably is Dino really to production use? No, but not actually. But it's heavily active at the moment, and we can play with it or we can experiment some around the Dino. But it's my opinion, but probably, or my estimation is probably 1 or 2 years for Deno becomes a bit stable or release the stable version of Deno. Because normally Node.js did take around 3 years or something. Yeah, it's the last year was present, but yeah, needs some more time for that. It is very promised.
Yeah, it is like okay, it is not production ready yet. Are there any companies contributing or something, or is it just Ryan Dahl and the open source community?
Good question. At the moment I think didn't receive many contributions, but how I did know it's at the moment by the community. But not we can say the community, but internally these contributions comes from companies very important. Like this guy, for example, from Go team, or this guy, I don't know where it is. Um, but yeah, I'm very interested in provides many experience into the Deno. I guess the people is very excited about around that. I think, yeah, even the Rust contributors. Um, yeah, this was the reasons because, for example, the Dino received very good feedback for change to Rust because at the beginning Deno was created in Go or using Go for the standard library access. But the people discussing and explaining exactly why not Rust, and Rust is very promised language, and in my opinion is the best language for that case. And yeah, I think this project will receive more contributions directly for companies. At the moment, I don't really sure what companies are actually directly contribution.
Thank you.
Yeah, Peter. So I think that's all, and yeah, thanks for coming.